Hi everybody, I'm Bruce, and in this video I wanted to introduce a project I've been working on intermittently for the last several years. This project is actually a new role-playing system, and the aim of this and future videos is to be an introduction into the new system. The project actually started back in 2008, not long after the release of 4th edition. I recall my friends and I were playing 3.5. I'd purchased a couple of the 4th edition books and were also playing a little bit of Pathfinder. However, it occurred to me that all these systems were very structured around character archetypes like fighters and wizards, each with their own unique abilities and limitations. And I have some notes from back in 2008, and I was a little frustrated by this. I was looking for a system that was similar to the original Diablo 1 game, where characters were more based loosely around their skills instead of specific classes and abilities. Another area I wanted to investigate was how damage was rolled. In all the systems we were using, they included multiple numbers of different dice, each with different modifiers, and as characters advanced, the numbers of dice and modifiers could become quite significant, and that all needed to be added up to get that final damage result. Following on from the damage rules, I was also interested in looking in the rules around instant death, which I personally felt were a little bit obscure in their application. In this particular case, I was looking for a method that would allow a single character, even a weak one, to slay a mighty opponent with a single attack. It should be very unlikely, but possible. A little bit like in The Hobbit, where Bard slays the dragon with a single arrow. So inspired by these stories, video games, as well as existing role-playing systems, I created a unique and original set of basic rules, as well as a small adventure to run at my local gaming store, which I was playing at regularly. Well, I won't go into the details, but it was a bit of a disaster. There was probably a few rules missing, and perhaps the story was a little bit lacking. So after that upsetting event, those rules were placed on the shelf where I really didn't look at them much again until 2023. At that time in 2023, I was playing a pre-created 5th edition campaign with a group of friends, and we were having a lot of fun playing the game. However, I was finding prior to the game I needed to do a considerable amount of pre-reading to be able to follow the story. Important points were often buried in paragraphs of text, and adding to that, when looking for a specific rule in the core rulebooks, it was often surrounded by large blocks of anecdotal describing text, making the specific rule difficult to find. Another area of interest for me was how characters derived their abilities. The characters seemed to have a myriad of abilities, skills, attributes, features, and spells, and they were all derived from a wide range of different sources, so that as the game master, I just had to trust that the abilities and skills that players were using were correct. In one particular case, my players were about to fight a final bad guy, and one of the players transformed into a dragon, defeated the bad guy, and perhaps saved the party. But they later let me know that they didn't actually have that ability, and they didn't realize at the time. And it's just an example of how I, as the game master, was unable to follow or track all the different abilities that the different classes and characters had. In some ways, I feel this distracts from the game, pulling away from the simpler character classes you had in earlier editions. It can be fun to min-max your character, create something unique, but as the game master, I've found it extremely difficult to follow all the different abilities and attributes that characters have and provide suitable levels of challenge for it. So, based on that, I took those draft rules off the shelf and decided to have another go at them. So the goal has become to create a concise rule system that has a lot of depth, makes sense, and doesn't cut any corners. And using that system, I hope to create an adventure model that is easy to follow, concise, and a lot of fun. Thanks very much, and if you feel inclined, give me a like.